Okay, I am back and I've got this pretty nice red fill on my iguana. It is blotchy and looks like a very bloody iguana, which is kind of what I'm looking for. Just so you know, over here in the tools, there is a smudge tool, and I did use that for some of these patches to just help them be a little bit less brushstroke looking and a little smudgier. So the next thing I'm going to do is come into my layers. I painted all of this on layer 1, so I'm going to call this one Underpainting. And then up here in my layer bar, which should hopefully be reasonably familiar to you from other programs, you'll see you can add effects and masks. I'm just going to add a new layer, and we'll call this one my base color. So for this, again, I'm going to come into my color picker, and let's say that my iguana is going to be kind of like a greenish color. Again, I'm going to keep the color picker open because as I'm painting, I do like to change color pretty frequently. So let me come up into my brush, and what I want to do now is turn down my stroke opacity. I don't want anything to be completely solid. I may turn up my position jitter and my size jitter so that I get a really inconsistent stroke. And now I'll just go through with a handful of colors, kind of softly painting over my underpainting. And as I do, I'll be building up the color of the iguana's skin. And if I know things like I want the iguana to be slightly paler on the underside, what I might do is just, as I paint, focus on using lighter colors on the belly and darker colors on the top. So, you know, maybe this is a lighter color. I've still got my stroke opacity. It still feels too high. It's because I'm using a mouse and not a brush, but that's okay. So, you know, maybe I'll do a couple of strokes up here on the back, and then I will come down to this underbelly and just do a few more so that the underbelly starts to fill in. The other thing that you can do as you're doing this, well, first just remember that you're going to be doing this a lot. So I'll just keep playing around with this, keep turning my opacity down. I can also start changing up my alpha. So right now I'm just using a basic circle as my alpha, and it's not looking too bad. But it's really nice to be able to bring in some of the more textured alphas. There are some sponge painting ones that I think I liked last time. Let's try that, sure. And let's just see how are the rest of my settings. Yep, all looking okay. And what this should do is as it paints, it should just give me a tiny bit of texturing. So let's choose a really dark color. We'll just paint over the head in this really dark color with this little speckle. So by building up these nice textures, we'll start giving it a look of roughness, like it's got some texture to its skin. So again, I'm not going to make you watch me as I paint over the entire iguana. I am going to pause here, but by the time I'm done, what I should have is a nice kind of generally greenish color iguana. Again, I'll still have some modeling from the underpainting, so it won't be one solid green color, which always looks kind of dead. It'll be a nice blended color. It'll have some little textures to it, a bunch of different shades of green, and hopefully it'll start to look kind of like skin. So that'll be my base color painting, and I will come back to you when it is done.